kind of catchy.
It really is, actually.
Okay. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast, live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. We come on here and record our podcast live. So how this works is, I don't know how long. I guess I have to do this for like every episode. We
Now
start
that you started it, you have to.
yeah, we start the show by reviewing our movie that we previewed last week. So we took this week to watch it. In this case, not a movie, movies, and have now come back on here to review them. And then after that, we are going to preview a new movie. Actually, in this case, movies, because we're doing our Ode to Summer Drive-In and watching two movies. And it is kind of special because they are both sequels to movies we have already watched and reviewed. Actually, I think doing the drive-in specials, there's 3 of them, and they're all sequels to movies that we've already watched and reviewed.
Yes,
Yeah.
because we're gluttons for punishment.
Yeah. They weren't all good movies that we watched.
We're not.
So we're going to review Slumber Party Massacre 1982 and then Slumber Party Massacre 2021 shortly, because we previewed them last week, and then we are going to review Weekend at Bernie's 2 and Mannequin 2, or Mannequin, what was it called? Moving on.
Fuck. Oh, Jesus.
It's Mannequin 2.
It's Mannequin 2. That's it.
Then
There's a new mannequin in town.
Yeah. And then this week we're going to watch Mannequin 2 and Weekend at Bernie's 2 and come back next week and review them. Great. So before we begin, here's a clip from last week. And this is our reaction to watching the trailers of Slumber Party Massacre 1 and Slumber Party Massacre 82 and 2021. So it's a little longer this time because it's the 2 movies. Please tell me I loaded it. I did. Sweet.
But for those who stay, there'll be plenty of surprises. And non-stop action. One thing's for sure, no one's getting any sleep the night of the Slumber Party Massacre. Close your eyes for a second and sleep forever.
Okay, my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember a lot of this movie. I don't. I have seen it, and a lot of that does kind of look familiar. I'm not expecting what's Black Christmas,
Mm.
but from what I'm seeing, what I can remember, I am expecting more than, say, Return to Horror High.
Well, yeah. I should hope so.
But I think it looks like a pretty standard 80s slasher movie, but it looks okay. It looks like it'll be fine. Nothing jumped out at me and said, "Oh no."
Yeah. Like, there was nothing in the trailer that made me think this is not going to be a good time. I think it's going to be a good time. I think I'm going to like it. I remember liking it, and I remember having a lot of cringe moments for the deaths.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if my memory is serving me right. So I'm like, I can't wait to watch it to see if the deaths are still as uncomfortable as I remember them.
Yeah. This looks like it just. I'm looking for fun horror. All right. So with that, we have the Slumber Party Massacre 2021.
No matter what he does, we are ready. Russ is alive and killing.
It feels very familiar with the 1982 one.
Yeah.
Like,
it does. It kind of reminded me of Black Christmas, the third one.
yeah,
where
the
it's
most
kinda like,
recent, yeah.
yeah. They obviously don't look like they're just and running
Yeah.
and hiding. They look like they're gonna, which
Fight
seems a
back.
little more realistic, but it
Yeah.
actually looks cool.
Yeah. I think you're still gonna get a very fun vibe from that one,
Yeah, like
which
it
I'm
looks.
excited for.
Yeah, I'm excited too, especially now that we know that it's just not sci-fi. It's actually there's
Yeah.
gonna be some gore.
There's gonna be some gore, and also the fun fact that every actress or actor in the movie is South African, because you had to be a
Really?
citizen. You had to be a citizen of
I would
South
say
Africa
because of
because
the
it was during the
pandemic,
COVID. Yeah. So they're all South African.
their accents didn't sound bad.
No, they sounded pretty American.
When that the first preview of the 82 one ended and it went back for a quick second there, I thought that was actually us
I
now.
know.
And I was
I had
about
that
to
moment
say,
too.
because we didn't say anything right at the beginning. I'm like, oh shit, am I supposed to say something?
No, I had that moment too, and I was like, "Wait, I'm not wearing that sweatshirt."
Yeah, that's not my background.
What?
Okay. So that was our reaction. Now,
Yes.
welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. And we have both watched the Slumber Party Massacre 1982 and 2021 versions. Before we start our live show, your initial thoughts on the 82 and then the 2021.
I like them both, actually. Like, very solid, fun horror. Um, the killer was creepier in one than the other, in the 82 than the 21. The 21 felt more fun and a little bit lighter.
Mhm.
And there were marked differences between the two, but they both were really fun kind of horror movies. I'm surprised and delighted.
Yeah, my initial thoughts. I didn't approach the 82 one like House of Wax or Ghost Ship with their big budgets and fancy actors who could act. I went into Slumber Party expecting like low budget, a $200,000 horror movie from the early 80s. I wanted boobies and bad acting and but creativity kills, and I wanted to
Mhm.
be able to laugh at the stupidity of the characters, and not least I wanted to have fun watching it, and I got to that in some degree. And the 21, I was expecting a lot from this sci-fi TV movie, a lot. Like I wasn't expecting a lot at all, because they've made some horrible movies and TV shows, but they've
Oh
made some
god, yeah.
pretty cool movies and TV shows. But my expectations were super low. I just wanted an upgraded from the 82 version, and it's what I got. It was
Yeah.
yeah. I was
I
actually
I
surprised on both.
I was surprised too. Well, I wasn't fully surprised. I was a little surprised, very delighted, because I was like, this could have been a terrible, terrible time.
Yeah.
And I watched them back to back because I love doing that with these. Um, and it was just a delightful afternoon. I was like, this is lovely.
You had your own private slumber parties.
I did.
All right, so we'll start the live thing.
Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production. Take 2.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? Now, we're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Or, your father was right. You were an idiot and everything you watched was stupid. So buckle up, movie aficionados. Over the top gore? Check. Over embellished action? Check. Gratuitous nudity? Double check. Storylines so absurd you could drive a semi-truck through those plot holes. Oh yeah, some of those movies didn't even know what a movie plot was. And that's the way we liked it. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
All right. Yeah, okay, so now let's go over the movie and see if we can pinpoint where it all went wrong in places and right in other places. And for the most part, I think it went pretty good, pretty right.
Yeah.
Okay,
For what it
so
is. I'd like to
Yeah.
point that out. For what it is,
yeah,
it did very well.
yeah, for what it was, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so 1982 version. In a suburban Los Angeles neighborhood, a paperboy tosses a newspaper with the headline that screams, "Mass murder of 5 Russ Thorne escapes." In one house, 18-year-old Trish Devereaux, Michelle Michaels, wakes up, dresses, and gathers some dolls to throw away. Okay, first, Trish wakes up in white panties and a camisole. Shows her
And
boobies right away,
yeah,
extra points right away. But I said this before with just one of the guys. The 80s led me to believe that this was how all girls
yeah.
woke up.
We do not roll out of bed delicately and then like walk to the closet and then immediately get dressed.
Yeah.
None of that happens.
A little bluebird didn't land on your finger and
No,
start chirping.
weirdly enough, no. Strange, I know.
Just so people know, I could hardly find a decent plot until I went on IMDb, and this was by a fan who went really into detail. So, yeah, over her radio alarm clock. And again, all these 18-year-olds, and for those
Yeah,
listening, I'm making quotations, are in their mid to late 20s.
100%.
And back in 1980, I didn't watch in 92, but back in the 80s, I couldn't care if they were 26 or 56.
No, they had titties. That was what you were focused on. I know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
A news reporter talks about a mass murderer named Russ Thorne who escaped from the state insane asylum where he was incarcerated since 1969 for killing 5 people in nearby Venice, California. I did like the fact that the young woman in the early 80s didn't wear bras, apparently, while wearing practically see-through sundresses.
Can I tell you the difficulty I had with this entire thing? Like, not one, especially the more well-endowed ladies, not wearing bras. And I was like, look, I know it's 1982. It wasn't that long ago that it was the 70s where nobody wanted to wear a bra. I get that. Like, they were shitty bras back then. But I'm like, these are a bunch of teenagers. They're gonna wear bras.
Yeah. No.
No, apparently not in this movie.
Yeah. Don't listen, Anna. Let your freak flag fly.
Hey, if you wanna free tit it, by all means,
Yeah.
let them loose. I'm here for it.
And it's
They're
funny because you're right, and you're a teenage girl wouldn't do that, and that's what I mean when you see this being an adult now,
Yeah.
seeing this woman, you're like, that is not an 18-year-old girl.
They all look so old.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. There's one in particular that I'm like, "You look like a 35-year-old woman." It's
Yeah.
fine.
And I did like the first on-air caller who thought she won like $100 and she only
Yeah.
won the t-shirt, and she sounded so disappointed.
That was very realistic.
Yeah. Outside, Trisha's parents are leaving for the weekend, and her mother tells her that their next door neighbor, Mr. Content,
I think it's Conton, yeah.
who's played by Ryan Kennedy, is there if she needs help with anything. Her parents leave, and Trish throws her bag of old dolls in the trash can and begins to walk to school. As she is leaving, someone takes one of the dolls out of the trash.
Can I just point out that just before the arm reaches into frame to grab the doll, you hear his breathing,
Oh, yeah.
but it's not so exaggerated that it sounds like it was done on a soundstage. Like, it really sounds like you're standing next to the creepy heavy breather, and then he
Yeah.
just reaches out and take that. I was like, "Oh, excuse me, sound engineer, look at you."
Yeah. He probably did it by mistake. And everyone was like, that's great, man. He's like, yeah,
That's
thanks.
what yeah, we did that on purpose.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
meant to do. And yeah, he took the Barbie,
Mhm.
which makes sense. It was more anatomically correct than the other dolls. I mean, if you're like a psycho and you find that important. At the local high school, 2 guys named Jeff, played by David Milburn, and Neil, played by Joe Johnson, are talking about girls and about rumors of a slumber party that Trish is throwing at her house tonight. Then Jeff sees and hits on the telephone repair woman named Mary. I did not know that. As
Neither
she's
did I.
fixing a phone line to one of the buildings on the school grounds. I agree with the young boys there. That was a super hot woman fixing the phone line.
She was very attractive, we can all agree on this.
Oh, God.
She didn't know how to hold any of her tools, but that's okay.
Yeah. 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 And I like how the 80s was super obvious. Like there was no hinting around, no build up. It was just straight to it.
Yeah.
Neil pulls Jeff aside and the boys keep walking as the woman stands by her van. Suddenly, a man pulls Mary into the van and drills her to death with a large power drill. I wonder who that could be. This was the second clue that we were in an early 80s low budget horror movie. No one heard the drill.
Yeah.
And when she popped up at the window of the back of the van, pounding the window, and then the first sign of the horror movie was that fucking, and it's throughout the entire movie, the music score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
That
tell you when
was-
something dramatic and terrifying is happening. They're like, here's where you're terrified.
Yeah. And every time I heard that synthesizer, I just pictured a dude on one of those little tiny, just two fingering it because it's too small. I looked up the Casio synthesizer because we talked about that in the trivia.
Yeah.
And it is an actual fairly
Yeah.
big one, but
There are the full size ones.
I kept thinking that little tiny one that
Yeah.
you got in the 80s as a kid, because that's what it fucking sounded like. Okay. In the school gymnasium, Trish is playing basketball with the rest of her teammates. Trish is part of her school's basketball team. Jeff and Neil arrive to watch the girls practice and discuss the new girl, Valerie Bates, played by Robin Still, whom is also on the court. And why wouldn't they come and watch the game? Not one of those girls was wearing a bra. God bless them. Not one female running and jumping in that gymnasium was wearing a bra.
This does not surprise me. Not even a little bit. Because
No.
within the first 3 minutes of this movie, you see a pair of titties.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those.
Yeah, and that basketball, there were titties flying there and titties flying over there, and I'm surprised the entire male school wasn't in there watching it.
I'm also
Ugh.
surprised.
The girls' coach, Jenna, Pamela Rowlands, yells to the girls to get motivated. I don't even think she was wearing a bra.
Probably not.
Valerie impresses the coach by scoring a few baskets, but the others ignore her because she is the new girl at school.
Mm.
In the locker room showers, Valerie continues to be ignored until Trish approaches her and compliments her on her basketball skills. Now, there were a lot of boobies and a lot of ass.
Yes.
There's a lot in this movie.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure this was a popular rental.
I
back in
believe
the
that.
day.
Yes. There was a lot.
Was it me? And maybe this is my adolescence coming back, full of hopes and dreams. But did it not look like Trish and Valerie were both giving each other like come hither eyes and staring at each other in the shower? Like for not just a second, for like a very long.
There was eye contact made.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that the direction this movie's going? 'Cause
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. I thought it was
Spoiler
going to
alert,
build
it's
into
not.
something. And then Jimmy's heart broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but initially, like, because the first rule of public showers is you don't make eye contact.
Yeah, I don't like making public eye.
Unless you're standing next to each other and you can confirm that
Yeah.
you're only looking at the face.
Yeah,
There's
eyes
no
up here,
reason
man.
you don't turn to anybody. You don't look at anybody. You don't make eye contact in public showers. Like them's the rules. So I was like, from across the room, like across the showers,
Yeah.
they made like a steady eye contact. But
Yeah.
apparently that was just, I think I want to be your friend eye
Yeah.
contact.
Yeah, it wasn't like a nod like, hey.
Yeah. It wasn't a I'll meet
It was
you.
a stare off and
It
not
was.
a
It
mean
was they
stare off. It was
they
a
held eye contact and
Yeah.
it was a little intense.
Yeah. Yeah. A little later, Trish suggests to her teammates, Diane, played by Gina Mary, Jackie, played by Andrea Horner. For a low budget movie, this had a big cast.
Yeah.
And Kim, Deborah Deliso, yes, about inviting Valerie to their slumber party. But Diane rejects the idea and begins to badmouth Valerie to the rest of the girls. Valerie hears the girls and begins to leave until she is stopped by Trish. Valerie coldly says that she cannot come over to Trish's house for the party, and she leaves. You know what? That Diane can be a real bitch sometimes, you know?
Honestly, she really was. She was a hardcore bitch, and I did not like her.
Yeah, for someone that didn't even really want to, and we'll get to it, didn't want to stay at the slumber party.
Yeah. She's really worried about who's going to get invited. I'm like,
Yeah.
girl,
Yeah, you don't even want to be there, Diane, you hoe.
she's just new.
Yeah.
Like, she hasn't done anything to you other than be better than you at basketball.
Yeah. Outside, outside the gym, the group is leaving as Trish, Jackie, Kim, Diane, and another teammate named Linda, played by Brinky Stevens. We talked about her quite a bit.
Yep.
Discuss the party, and they are joined by Jeff and Neil. Sorry. They are observed by the killer Russ Thorne, played by Michael Villela. I don't know if I pronounced that right. A wild-eyed,
Villela.
casually dressed, middle-aged man watching them from the telephone repair woman's van. Linda returns to the gymnasium to her locker to get a book as Russ Thorne watches the group leave, passing by a dumpster with the dead telephone repair woman in it, as well as Coach Jana also leaving the gymnasium. She tells Linda to hurry up because they will be locking the gym soon. I would have thought she would have stayed to make sure she got out. I get it for the sake of the movie, but as an adult and a teacher.
Yeah, but this is the 80s. This was before people started suing for everything.
Yeah. As Linda retrieves a book from her locker, she finds that she is locked in the building. She was warned. As she looks for a way out, Russ Thorne appears and walks up to her in the hallway and attacks her with a large phallic power drill. I didn't write it from the plot.
No, but there is one particular point where just before
Yes,
he kills her.
I do get that's the point extension
Yeah.
of his wee. But this caught me off guard. His large phallic power drill. Like reading a romance novel. Drilling through her left arm, Linda runs and hides in the dark shower room and under a counter door. After looking around, Thor sees the blood seeping under the door and drills right through it. Okay, she was doing okay until that 4 or 5 gallons of blood she lost went under the doorway. Also, I made a note when he was standing on the other side of the door. I thought he looked down and saw the blood and went, like, I wonder if that's the blood from the girl I just drilled through. I'm not sure. I had to rewind it. And yes, he did was like,
Yeah.
I wonder if that's my victim or if that's someone else. Russ is stupid. Linda screams, but her screams do not last long. Thorne runs back to the van and drives off.
Yes.
While walking home from school, Diane meets her boyfriend, John Miner, played by Jim Boyce, who surprises her. John asks Diane if she can get around the no boys allowed rule at Trisha's party. Diane tells John to call her later at Trisha's house to ask again. Across town, Coach Jana arrives home only to be surprised when a drill bit crashes through her front door. Also, when her boyfriend surprised her, he kind of like just snuck up on her and grabbed her. Like they're
he snuck up and grabbed her, and then she pulled some self-defense move.
Yeah.
Tossed him to the ground, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But I was also like, why wouldn't you just say, hey?
Yeah, like, hey, I'm coming up behind you now.
A teenage girl walking home alone all of a sudden gets grabbed by a stranger.
The drill bit crashes through her front door. Right. So, but it is only her carpenter, Pam, drilling a peek hole at her front door. Jenna asked the carpenter if she had seen her pet cat, but she hadn't. They did go out of their way putting women in all of these jobs. And I think that was the point, unless I was missing something.
No, it was the point, I think, because I think this was Amy Holden's way of getting feminism in there.
Right.
Like, she had to put all the titties in, she had to put all the nudity in, she had to put all of that.
That was Roger Corman.
Yeah, it was Roger Corman. So I feel like this was Amy Holden basically being like, Amy Holden Jones being like, no, we're going to put some feminism in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, Trish arrives home and talks on the phone with Diane until she hears a noise and is scared by Mr. Contant, who offers to sit and wait with her until the girls arrive. He said he didn't mean to scare her. I think he did.
When you walk into someone's house without being invited in, you're going to scare them.
Yeah, he didn't announce himself.
No.
He didn't call it Trish.
Nope. He just walked in.
No,
started
he waited
around.
and grabbed her on the shoulder before announcing himself. Yeah, the stupidity boxes were definitely checked off in this movie.
Oh, 100%.
At Coach Jana's house, she hears a noise up in the opens up a closet door to find her cat, Muffin. Muffin jumps out and scares her. First, how the fuck did Muffin get into that closet and lock himself in?
Nobody knows. But
Yeah.
also, can we talk about the fact that her pussycat is named Muffin?
Yeah. And I'm
I
calling
giggled.
but I'm calling him a he.
Sure.
Too many chicks in this movie. Muffin's a boy cat. female
If that makes you
phone
fe-
repairman, female carpenters in the 80s. How absurd.
If that
Muffin's a
makes you
boy
feel
cat.
better, sure.
And someone had to put Muffin in there and shut the door. Muffin didn't do it himself.
Have you ever had a cat? Cats do that kind of shit all the time.
Get
You do
into a
have a cat.
closet and
Yes.
unclose it? Really? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, those cats get into places and you're sitting there going, "How the fuck did you do that?" And they look at you, "You fucking moron, just get me out." Like, cats are evil geniuses, but also giant morons. What they do.
Yeah, no, I thought it was either Jana was a bit psychotic or her carpenter was pissed off at Muffin and threw him in the closet.
No, the cat probably just went in to hide there and the door
Yeah.
got closed.
Now, at nightfall, the driller killer, Russ Thorne, arrives in the telephone repair woman's van on Trish's street, where he gets out and lurks in the bushes around Trish's house. Jackie and Kim arrive at Trish's house and show her a bag of marijuana they bought with him and begin to smoke some of it. I don't think they smoked it, did they?
Um,
So I think they were smelling at this point.
At that point, they were just smelling because there was the bag they were talking about, Maui Wowie.
Yeah, because Mr. Cotton walks in and does
Yeah.
not seem to mind, and he leaves the house.
Correct.
But we agree that Mr. Conton is taking a lot of liberties and coming and going from this house.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yes, he is a very, very creepy older man who should not be roaming into the house filled with teenage girls without announcing
Oh.
himself or asking if he can even come in.
Yeah. Oh, the 80s. Coincidentally, the other next door house to the left of Trish's, I think it's across the street, is the Bates home where Valerie is with her younger 14-year-old sister, Courtney, played by Jennifer Myers. This was Courtney, and I thought Courtney was a fine actress. Jennifer Myers, this was her first and only movie that she ever did.
Wow. Courtney or Jennifer Myers, as we are calling her, also looked like she was 35 and she was supposed to be the younger sister.
Yeah, so she would be like 15, 16.
I
Yeah,
was assuming 15 or 16.
Yeah, she looked older too.
But she looked older than her older sister. Like, it was concerning.
Yeah. And they were looking, and Valerie's looking after Courtney while their divorced mother is away for the weekend as well. This person loved this movie because they know stuff, or they're making it up.
Also very possible.
Yeah. Valerie checks outside when she hears a noise to see an overturned trash can. And yeah, Courtney's a little pervert with her Playgirl magazine, Sylvester Stallone issue.
Yes, of course.
I was a little offended. Playgirl.
Playgirl wasn't as there weren't a lot of dicks. We're gonna put that.
Oh no?
No,
I knew Sylvester Stallone wasn't gonna be naked.
No.
That was the
A
big
lot of the like pictures were really toned down, or they
okay.
weren't full frontals, like not like Playboy.
Yeah.
Because apparently people thought women didn't buy those magazines.
Yeah.
For pictures, it was just for the articles.
Yeah.
How wrong they were.
Yeah, because later she's like really getting into that.
Yeah.
Scene. Looking at men like they're pieces of meat. It's gross. Meanwhile, Jeff and Neil arrive and lurk outside the house on the other side to watch the girls change their clothes. And they're smoking more pot, and they make a fire in the fireplace. I guess that's what they were watching. Inside the house, the girls hear a noise and investigate the kitchen, only to find that Diane has arrived. Trish suggests ordering a pizza, and Diane goes outside to get more wood for the fireplace.
Mm-hmm.
First, how bad did you want some Kool-Aid?
So much.
Do they even
when
make
I saw
that
her-
one anymore? Like where
Yeah.
you put and you have to add your
Yeah.
own sugar? Yeah? Okay.
They
It's been a
still
long
make
time
that.
since I had Kool-Aid.
Yeah, well, it's not like Kool-Aid was ever unsweetened. It was always sweet. You just added more sugar to make it
To make it
sweeter.
sweeter, yeah.
Yeah. So when she was making it, and I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah,
Kool-Aid."
I could go for some
Like,
Kool-Aid.
I have the little Kool-Aid, like,
The
water flavor
Mio, yeah,
squeeze.
you
Yeah,
squeeze it. Yeah, I've got
those.
those. Yeah.
I've got those, but I was like, "How long has it been since I've used, like, powdered
Yeah,
Kool-Aid?"
the powder stuff. I was like,
It's been forever.
probably tastes better too.
Uh, Probably, yeah.
Just add whatever
Tastes like
sugar you
sugar.
want. Yeah. She meets Mr. Content, who is chopping snails with a meat cleaver. What is this dude's problem?
He's super weird, and also, you can just move the snail.
Yeah, pick it up and
Pick it
chuck
up,
it.
put
For
it in a
those
bucket.
yeah, for those listening, and if you've never seen the movie, Diane is getting wood for the fireplace as she sees a snail and kind of screams, says gross, because we all know how dangerous and gross snails are.
Mhm.
And this fucking chooch, again, doesn't announce himself behind poor Diane. He just brings a meat cleaver down and obliterates the snail.
Yep.
And between you and me, I don't think that was a stunt snail.
No, I don't think so either.
But this guy has a problem with not announcing himself.
He just shows up, and apparently now with weapons,
Yeah, thank God he doesn't have a gun.
right?
Someone would get hurt. Diane says goodnight to him and leaves. Just as Mr. Content is preparing to snag another snail, the driller killer walks up to him from behind and drills him through the neck. Again, for low budget early 80s horror film, the effects were pretty good.
Yeah. I did notice that a lot of the actual deaths did happen off screen, which I was like,
Yes.
totally fine with.
And smart, maybe, because
Yeah.
I think they pooled their money for
For the
what can we
smaller
make look really
injuries.
good?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what can we, yeah.
It would have totally blown their budget if they had done everything,
Yeah.
like if all the deaths had been on screen. But I like that the injuries were on screen, and I like that some of the deaths were on screen, but not all of them,
Not all of them, yeah. Yeah,
because they still communicated clearly, "This dude's dead."
yes. And yeah, and she kind of showed what happened to
Yeah.
them. Yeah, and I would take, for an older movie, I would take quality over
Yes.
quantity. Yeah. Um Jeff and Neil, yeah, but and then when he got killed, Jeff and Neil were right around the corner. Like one of them even says, "Did you hear something?"
Yeah.
What, like a power drill going through someone's throat?
Apparently everybody in this movie is hard of hearing.
Yeah. A little later, Russ Thorne continues lurking outside the house, and just when he is about to climb in through a window, Trish appears and closes the window, unaware that he is there.
Mm.
When she looks again, this is when she sees a melted doll, the same one she threw out in the garbage earlier, stuck up to the window with the meat cleaver. I didn't even notice it was the meat cleaver.
It was the meat
It
cleaver.
was, yeah.
I noticed that.
Just
I was like,
look,
Mr. Content's not coming back.
I'm just looking around the meat cleaver, seeing whose boobies are hanging out.
Well, apparently while they were changing very casually in the living
Yeah.
room.
See, I
Everybody's
thought
boobies.
girls did that too. Apparently not.
No, we all went into bathrooms, and if you did change, you turned your back to your friend.
Which kind of
Like,
makes sense.
you didn't just like sit there having a full conversation, taking
No.
off your clothes.
Yeah. My whole
So
childhood was a
weird.
lie. Trish and Diane go to the garage to check if there is someone there and see that it is not locked. Diane calls John on the phone while the stoned and giggly girls listen to the line. Diane hears them and tells John to come over soon. Yeah, that was kind of funny. I did like that scene. I don't remember them smoking pot though, but it's something girls would do. They would like listen to, some guys would do too, listen to their friends talking.
Oh,
But
100%.
then she's like, "Do you think I'm getting better?"
Oh God.
Men don't care, honey. And if he doesn't appreciate the effort, fuck him. Just then the lights in the house go out. The girls go to the garage to check the fuse box and find some fuses missing. They are scared by Jeff and Neil, and in turn, Jeff gets punched by Trish for scaring them. Trish forces them to reinstall the fuses, making the lights in the house come on again, and all of them go inside. Now, next door, Valerie. No, this is wrong. It's across the road. Valerie hears a noise again, and she sees both trash cans lying down on the ground. Courtney
I
thinks
don't think
that
it's across the road. I think it's next door.
Is it next?
Because they're not, when they look out the
Aren't they able
window,
to look in?
they're able to
into-
look into the house, but it's not the front door. It's a side window or a
It's the
side
side
door.
window. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Now that you said that, yeah.
Look at me paying attention.
Yeah. No, this person was right. I should have got her name, his name, her name.
Their name.
Yeah, their name. Courtney thinks that it might just be some stray dogs looking for food. Courtney looks through her bedroom window at Trisha's house, curious about the party going on, and she sees John pulling up on the driveway in his car. John honks his car horn, and Diane comes out saying she cannot leave right now. John pulls his car into the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Courtney suggests crashing Trisha's party while Valerie brushes her hair. Valerie tells her sister that she just wants to be alone and does not feel very sociable. In Trisha's garage, Diane and John are making out in the car while the others are inside. And this is where our trivia segment ruined it for me. That was a real breast being fondled,
Yes,
but it wasn't Trisha's. It was a stunt titty.
I know. I'm sorry. But my God, was that an extreme close up?
That was a very extreme close-up of that boob.
I was like, that's a lot. That is so close. Like you could see when he touches the nipple, you can see it just kind of. I was like, that's
Yeah.
so close. That was not necessary.
Like it's like they didn't want to get any shot of possibility of who was the stunt double,
Pretty much.
the stunt boob. John suggests going over to his house for some intimate time, and Diane goes in the house and tells Trish that she and John are going out for beer. Trish, aware that Diane only wants to go someplace to have sex with John, replies, "You don't have to ask my permission, Diane." Diane returns to the car where she gets in the front seat only to find John's head falling off his body. She screams, but her screams are not heard because the girls inside are running a blender to make margaritas. Diane crawls out of the car and is killed by Thorne, who is still in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Thorne is a very lucky serial killer.
He really is.
Like distracted teenage boys, neglectful teachers, blenders. Like, he's
Apparently,
just-
the blender is so loud you couldn't
Yeah.
hear anyone screaming.
Well,
that's fine.
yeah, because that actually brings this up. Next door, Courtney thinks that she hears honking and screaming, but Valerie says that it's nothing. Yeah, because she was trying to honk the horn to get everyone's attention.
Yeah.
So the victims are quite smart in this movie, pounding on
Yes.
windows,
It's
screaming.
all of their friends who are just
Their friends are
dumbasses.
morons. Yeah, because Courtney was not across the road, but next door, and she heard it.
She heard the honking. She heard the screaming from next door.
The
These are not
blender inside
attached
the
row
house.
houses. Like, there's a good solid 20 or 30 feet. So you're telling me the people in the house, approximately 10 feet away, just running a blender too loud?
drowning
hear
it
them?
out. Well, it makes sense. It's 1982. It's probably 70s blender, so it's probably running on like a 100 horsepower motor.
No. I have a blender from the 80s. And
Oh, tell me it's green.
it's not, unfortunately.
Ah.
It's beige. But it does have brown buttons. Still
And it
works.
and it still works. And it
But
probably.
it's quieter than my NutriBullet.
Oh, is it really?
It is.
We were talking about this the other day about things that we have from like the 70s and 80s or had that still
Yeah.
worked. Yeah. And now you get some. You're lucky if you get a couple years of them.
Tell me about it.
That's you're getting old. You start complaining about that.
Especially kitchen appliances.
Yeah. Courtney again asks Valerie if they could go over to the party, but Valerie again refuses. Courtney retreats to the bedroom while Valerie stays downstairs and turns on the living room TV to watch a movie. At Trisha's house, the front doorbell rings and the group thinks it's the pizza guy. Jeff asks through the door, "What's the damage?" He hears a voice through the door saying 6 so far. 6 so far, meaning he's killed 6 so far, but
Yeah.
they think it's $6 for a pizza. $6 for a pizza.
Yeah, right?
What a wonderful era we missed out on.
Oh, God.
Kim and Jackie are on the phone with Coach Jana to ask about an upcoming basketball game, and the front door is open to find a dead pizza delivery guy, his eyes gorged out, who falls through the doorway and lands on the floor, with the pizza still in his dead arms.
Of course.
That was an amazing feat.
Because he would hold on to the pizza while his eyes are being drilled out.
Yeah. The girls scream and Trish hangs up the phone to call the police, but Thorne cuts the phone lines. Coach Janet hears the screaming on the other line before she gets cut off. Janet tries calling the girls back, but there's no answer. Coach Janet calls Valerie, suggesting checking out the house, and she says that she will drive over there to help check it out herself. Did you not hear the dial tone when they dropped the phone?
The dial tone
Like they
didn't happen
dropped
right
the
away.
phone and
And then there was a dial
tone.
tone, yeah.
Yeah. So the phone was still working. And this just
Yeah,
goes
because
back.
it was during the 911 call.
Yeah.
They call 911, and just as she's giving her address, that's when he cut the phone line.
Yeah. But it wouldn't go back to a dial tone, would it?
No, then at that
No.
point, there was no dial tone. There was a dial tone when they
Oh, okay.
when Coach was listening on the phone and they hung up on her.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, this just goes back to the horrible neglect of that school district's teaching body. Like, she heard the screaming. She couldn't get an answer back. Then she calls, "Hey, teenage girl, I heard some shit over at Diane's. It might be pretty bad. Go check that out."
Right? And then she's like, I don't really feel like going. No, you probably shouldn't leave the house.
Yeah.
I'll drive
Yeah.
over and check myself. I was like,
Yeah.
or you could just call the police.
Yeah. Well, maybe she was busy watching Fantasy Island. And then she was going to go over, and then she's like, "Ooh, a new Love Boat's coming on right after." Because it took her a while to get over there. But
Honestly,
anyway.
yeah. I was like, did you like take a shower, get dressed, maybe grab a meal? I'm like, why did it take you so long?
In Trish's house, Jeff and Neil arm themselves with kitchen knives and begin to lock all the doors and windows of the house. After a while, Jeff suggests that they make a run for it to get help. Neil decides to make a run for Valerie's house, while Jeff will make a run for Mr. Compton's house to get to a phone. Trish and the girls reluctantly agree. Jeff goes out the back door while Neil runs out the front door. But by splitting up, the guys guarantee their own demise. Jeff has to run through the backyard and through the garage to get out the back way, where he finds a dead Diane in the garage. Thorne is in the garage waiting for him and drills Jeff in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Thorne then returns after Neil, who makes it to Valerie's front door and begins frantically knocking and screaming for help. But Valerie it actually says this, either ignores the knocking or doesn't hear it due to the loud television.
I think she ignores it because she keeps looking over and being like,
Yeah.
And
And
like
that was
multiple times.
Yeah, and that was a fucking tube TV. There was no surround sound. There was no Dolby Atmos or 9.1 surround.
No, very true. Very true.
How the fuck did Thorne know where to go? I mean, really. He is so lucky.
But this was high school in the 80s.
Yeah.
Or Thorne literally just followed the sound of him pounding on the door.
Yeah, that could have been it. Yeah. I wonder
And
where he went.
screaming,
Oh, there
Valerie,
he
let
is.
me in.
I know where he is. Courtney doesn't hear Neil calling for help either because she is on her phone in her bedroom talking to a friend while playing loud rock music on the radio. Thorne approaches and attacks Neil, in which he managed to twist the knife Neil has from his hands and gorily stabs the boy to death. When Valerie finally goes to the front door, she cannot see anything as Thorne is carrying Neil's dead body back to the garage and throws him in the trunk of John's car, where the dead bodies of John, Mr. Continent, Diane are stuffed in. And can we go back? That was a lot of stabbing.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there was a lot of blood.
Yep.
So yeah,
none of it ended up anywhere.
No, Thorne either cleaned it up or Valerie's a little deaf and a little blind.
Yep. Well, she also didn't open the door. She just kind of looked through the window and she's like, "Oh, nobody's standing directly in front of my door."
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And then she kind of walked away.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everyone's doing everything right. It's just their friends suck.
Yes.
Thorne counts the bodies and realizes that one is missing. It is Jeff, who, despite being gravely wounded, is crawling back towards the back door. And he didn't just count them once. He counted them a few times, like double checking his math.
Well, he wanted to be
that
sure.
was awesome. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inside, Trish, Diane, and Kim sit in a circle with knives in their hands. Jackie goes for the dead pizza boy's delivery and enjoys a slice of pizza. That was kind of funny. Eating
That was
always
pretty
helps me
funny.
feel better. She's like, takes a bite. Look, I'm already starting to feel better. And I guess Jackie, Jackie was one of those snobby actresses. I have a note here. Oh, yeah. No, none of them. I was going to say Jackie didn't hear, but none of them heard Jeff's. Well, actually, Jeff
Yeah.
was only scratching at the back door.
Yeah, he wasn't banging, he wasn't screaming. He just
No.
kind of crawled over and was kind of like, I'm going to gently touch this door.
Yeah, he couldn't squeak out a, "Hey, it's me, Jeff," or "Help."
Apparently not.
Now they hear the scratching, but they are too afraid to open the door and think it might be a trick.
Mm.
Then they hear Thorne approach and approach Jeff and drill him to death. So, but at that one, you can't really blame them. The scratching,
No, I can't blame him for that.
that was Jeff's fault. Sorry,
Yep.
Jeff. Valerie sees. Oh wait. Meanwhile, Coach Jana gets in her car and begins to drive over to Trisha's house, while Valerie goes upstairs to find Courtney gone. So Love Boat finished. Coach decides might as well go over and check it out. Not call the cops like you said.
No, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that would just be stupid.
Right?
Valerie sees her sister walking to Trisha's house and runs after Courtney. Courtney sees Valerie approaching and ducks away from her by running around the side of the house. Valerie goes up to the front door and rings the doorbell and knocks on the front door. When she gets no reply, she leaves. Jackie runs to the front door from the kitchen to let Valerie in, and when she opens it, Thorne is now standing there and swipes the drill across Jackie's neck, killing her.
Mm.
Trish and Kim run upstairs and barricade themselves in Trish's bedroom. Great instinct, horrible execution.
Because they didn't think to close the window.
They barricaded the door, left the
Yep.
window
Wide open.
wide. The window wasn't even shut; it was wide open.
Yep. He did not have to bring up the window pane. He didn't have to do any of that. There was no work for him.
And that was good. He quiet. You could see him. He
Yeah.
acted quiet, like he quietly put his leg in and din. Meanwhile, Valerie finds Courtney in the back of the house and she tells her that she does not think anyone is home after looking in the windows and seeing no one. Was it just me or did Valerie go around that house a lot? Like she went around that house a few times.
Yeah.
Valerie tells her that she will check the front door again. She walks inside the house through the front door after finding it conspicuously wide open after knowing the front door was closed and locked just a few minutes ago. Valerie calls out the girls' names, and upstairs, Kim wants to respond, but Trish suggests that Valerie might be helping the killer. So if you're not a victim, you really are an idiot in this movie.
Okay, but I'd like to point something out. Trish, through this entire movie,
Was
has been
pro-Valerie.
she was actively trying to kill all of her friends.
Mhm.
Like everything that got her friends killed, it's because Trish like either fully endorsed it or suggested it.
Yeah.
So Trish is really the killer of this movie.
Yeah. Looking around the downstairs and finding nobody in sight, Valerie walks out through the kitchen into the backyard to find Courtney gone. Fucking Courtney.
Jesus.
Upstairs in Trish's bedroom, Trish and Kim talk about what they are going to do when Thorne sneaks in through a window and attacks them. Trish defends herself by knocking the driller killer down with a baseball bat and then tries moving the furniture away from the blocked door. You keep hitting him, honey. Come on.
This this is horror movie 101.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
keep hitting until something stops you.
Yeah. Or you see a lot of white meat.
Yeah.
But Thorne quickly revives and Kim attacks him with a knife. Thorne twists the knife out of Kim's hand and stabs her to death. Trish runs and hides in her parents' bedroom closet. Trish just left Kim there. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Didn't even try to help.
No, she was stabbed, but she
Yeah.
didn't even consider sticking around.
Nope.
Not even
She was like,
for a
"Oh, you got Kim? Cool. I'm out. Bye."
I will give her bonus points for hiding in that I don't even know what that was called, that clothes curtain carry thing, because it was
The
plastic.
garment bag?
Yeah, should have just stayed in there.
Sorry, the clothes carry plastic thing.
I have great editors. They really earned their money.
I can see that.
Oh, Now, while Thorne searches for Trish upstairs, Valerie goes outside and finds Courtney, and they go back inside Trish's house. Why wouldn't you? Where
Of
they find
course.
where they find Kim's dead body in the refrigerator. This is the plot saying, note there is a minor plot hole here. Minor plot hole just here?
Aw.
As well as some cheating, as one would wonder why in the world would the killer drag Kim after having killed her upstairs downstairs to the kitchen to stuff her in the refrigerator and in such a short time. That was
Also,
her note.
especially to be able to do that, you'd have to take out all of the shelves from the refrigerator,
Yeah.
all of the food, all
Yeah.
of the like everything that was in there, and shove a body in there.
Yeah. Now, that was a fun scene, even
Yeah.
though the weight of the body would not allow it to happen. But this is
Yeah.
why we watch cheesy B horror films, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah. Both girls scream and Thorne hears them. Valerie sees the shadow of Thorne on the stairway and hides in the basement while Courtney ducks under the living room couch. I have to say, Valerie was kind of like, run, bitch, you're on your own. Because she did yell run to Courtney and close that basement door pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, Courtney could have made it to that door and basement and went down with her. But she was
could
like,
have, but
yeah.
then how would someone watch Thorne if no one was underneath the couch?
Yeah.
But I do think the reason why Valerie screamed out "Run, Trish," and the door was left open was to try and misdirect Thorne.
Could have been. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's like, "Well, I still have a victim here at least.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna leave."
Thorne walks downstairs and looks around to see no one. He closes the front door and drags the dead pizza guy away into the basement, while Valerie hides under the basement stairs. Then, for some odd reason, Thorne, this is the plot, Thorne lies down on the living room floor and covers himself with a blanket.
Mm,
Because by now he knows, for whatever reason, the next moron that shows up will look under the blanket.
of course.
Also, how unlucky for Courtney.
Oh, Jesus.
Points for not screaming herself away, though, and giving herself
I know.
up. Yeah.
Courtney did well through this whole thing.
Yeah. A few minutes later, Coach Jenna arrives at the house and calls out the girls' names and walks inside.
Mm.
Courtney, still hiding under the living room couch, just a couple feet away from Thorne. Trish, still hiding upstairs, and Valerie, still hiding in the basement. Do not call out in fear of being discovered by the killer. When Coach Jenna appears, a figure covered on the living room floor, Thorne jumps up and goes after the coach with the drill, while she defends herself with a fireplace poker. No, Coach Jenna actually pulls back the blanket like Thorne knew she would.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, he knew she wouldn't be able to help herself. She'd have to check that out. Courtney intervenes and trips Thorne, who gets beaten by the coach with the fireplace poker. And Trish runs and stabs Thorne once in the back. He sits back up and slashes Coach Jenna across the chest with the drill, killing her, and knocks Trish to the floor. Did he kill her right there?
He didn't kill her right there. She stayed
Yeah.
alive for a while, and
For a while.
that's where he started talking creepy.
Yeah. Yep. Because speaking for the first time, Thorne makes a remark to Trish how pretty she is and that all of her friends are very pretty. The driller killer tells Trish that it takes a lot of love for a person to do this.
Mm.
Okay. Give me a moment here.
You okay? Deep breath.
Yeah, no,
Deep breath.
this next part. Just then, Valerie runs up from the basement. Okay, we'll get back to this. All this fighting was going on, and MacGyver downstairs looked like she was trying to put together a weapon. But when she found the power saw, I prayed that it was a plug-in. I wanted it so bad, but thought no. And I know you're all listening to this and saying, but Jimmy, they wouldn't have her run upstairs with a plugged-in power drill and have it snap back down the stairs like a Roadrunner cartoon. That is exactly what I'm telling you. And I actually have a clip because it was so awesome.
least she had an extension cord, okay?
That was
I don't
so
know why she
bad.
thought that extension cord was 100 feet long, but she had an
Ah.
extension cord.
That scene alone made me like this movie. And lucky for her, because it was right then that she saw the giant machete hanging on the wall.
Yes. Yes.
So silver linings. Wielding a large machete and swinging it at Thorne, who runs out the back door and stands by the backyard swimming pool while Valerie continues swinging the machete at him. With a powerful swing, Valerie chops off his drill bit. Get it? And further attacks, chopping off Thorne's left hand and slashes him in the abdomen, in which he falls into the pool. Valerie drops the machete and she and her sister embrace. Thorne crawls out of the pool and jumps atop Valerie to get at the machete. Courtney tries to stop him, but Thorne pimp slaps that little hoe. Okay, I added that last little bit to that plot. But that was a fucking slap.
It was a good slap.
Slaps her in the face and knocks her aside. Trish runs out and attacks him again. Thorne knocks Trish down and jumps for Valerie, who grabs the machete, and he lands right on top of it. Thorne falls to the ground, dead at last. The shaken Trish, Valerie, and Courtney look on as the police sirens are heard in the distance. Who finally called the police? Like, I'm asking, like, who the fuck called the...
I don't know. Maybe it
Probably
was
a
the
nosy
neighbors
neighbor,
across
yeah.
the street who were
Yeah,
like,
like-
there's a group of girls and they're being just really loud.
Yeah. Go
They're
stop
running
that.
power tools in the middle of the night.
Yeah. That someone's got a drill in there and they just keep using it. And people
Yeah.
are screaming and yelling for help.
They
I'm
just
trying to get
caused
some
a lot of
fucking
noise.
sleep.
It was a noise complaint.
Okay. So that was the movie.
Yes.
Now, your score.
6.7.
You always do a point.
Because I can't just do like this one, as most of them are not just a solid, like landing in one category. Excuse me. So, like, I can see why I liked it before. I still like it now. I still think it's a good time. However, it was made in 1982
Yeah.
by a super creepy producer.
God
So-
bless him.
There,
I could just see the notes.
yeah, more titties.
More
More
titties.
titties. Can we get more titties? How about now? More
Yeah.
titties? I know those are the notes.
Yeah.
So that did not travel well with through time. So, but it wasn't super. This is terrible to say. Like, it's exploitative, but it's not. I don't know why I said that word that way, but I did. It's exploitative, but it's not in your face exploitative. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so out of place where you're like, what? Like, you saw the titties while they were changing or taking a shower.
Yeah.
Did we need those scenes? No. Were they complete throwaways? No, because you still had conversations happening and you were still learning about the characters. So technically they were still useful. So that's where I kind of went between pretty kind of good, but leaning more towards very, really good, because I'm like, it's still a fun horror movie from the 80s that's super cheese,
Yeah.
really funny, a little creepy.
Yeah.
So that's my 6.7.
6.7. Yeah. And I always write mine down. Slumber Party Massacre 1982 didn't reinvent anything here. But whereas other horror movies we watched, like Ghost Ship, Graveyard Shift, House of Whack, with their big budgets and capable actors, I went into Slumber Party Massacre expecting bad acting, bad dialogue, cheesy score, semi-decent effects, and some titties. And that's what I got, because it's 1982. What I also got was some fun. It was bad. It was a bad movie, but it was a
Yes.
fun movie. And when it comes to low budget horror movies, that's what we're looking for, and we wouldn't be watching them if they weren't. You don't stream Slumber Party Massacre expecting a new Scream movie or the new Halloween movies. You automatically lower your bar on the overall movie in exchange for some fun. Again, Slumber Party Massacre is not a good movie, but it is one, if invited to, I would definitely go to again for fun and some titties. No, I give it a 6.5. It was just a fun, cheesy movie.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're right. It wasn't exactly. No, I can't say the fucking word.
Exploitative
Yeah, one of those ones.
or exploit
I don't wanna say it was organic, but it was kind of like you said, it was there were boobies, which back then, I think what people, if they're our age, get it. That sold the movie. That
Yeah,
sold a horror movie, and that's why people went and watched them. That's why people rented them over and over again while they had parties, while they had their friends over and stuff like that.
because it was risque. So for, like, a teenager, this kinda movie was risque. Not only did you have, a creepy old man
Yeah,
running around trying to kill people, but you also had, teenagers doing drugs and drinking and, you know, showing their tits, and you're just,
yeah,
like, sitting there going and it's weird because normally I get really frustrated if they throw the tits in for no good goddamn reason.
yeah, just for
Yeah,
yeah,
like, just for tits, but I'm like, it's weird because the tits actually had a purpose. Like, they w like, this sounds so weird, and I know it's gonna sound weird, but when you're in like, a shower scene, you can do it so that you don't see the breasts,
yep,
but they just chose to because the creepy producer,
yeah,
he wanted titties, and this was the compromise. So,
yeah,
like, I think it's one of those things where it's like, well, I'm need to keep the producer happy, but I don't wanna do it just for no reason,
yeah,
and that was the compromise. Are there a lot of tits in this movie? Yes. A
for
whole
sure.
lot of them,
Whole
but
lot
don't
of titties.
worry, they're all super perky,
Yeah, yeah,
like
they're
teenage
30-year-old
breasts usually
titties
are. Yeah, I'm impressed.
or 27 or 28. There was a
Yeah,
lot of old
but there's a lot of old titties.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, it's a very weird but I mean, this is what it was standard in horror movies
yeah.
from the late '70s, early to mid '80s, and even into the '90s, I'd say. Like, there's
Yeah,
very
you're
much
straight to VHS
yeah,
or yeah, straight to video, yeah, rentals.
it was still very prevalent.
Yeah.
And I mean, they make a joke about it in what is it? Scream, the first Scream, where it's like, when do we see her breasts?
Yeah,
Because it happens in every horror movie.
yeah.
And then
And you're right, if
Jamie
this
Lee
was
didn't
just
show
a
her tits
10
till she went to Legits.
yeah, and
Love
then,
that one.
yeah, if this was just a 10-minute scene of just girls showering,
Yeah.
I get that would be like
Or if it was them showering with no conversation
yeah,
and not talking about anything, or without that weird intense look from across the like shower room.
yeah,
Like, but there were things happening that did actually pertain to the story,
yeah,
as flimsy as the story is. But I mean, it works. It's still a good time. It's a fun movie. Can you do it without the tits? 100% yes, you can.
yeah, you can. Not in 1982, you couldn't. I mean,
Well,
you
no.
could have,
Not
but
with this producer. How about that?
oh, yeah, no, not with this producer.
Yeah.
No. Now, why I liked it initially? The titties.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm back then, that was obviously, like, yeah, that was part of it, but, um yeah, no, and when I saw this, Scream movies and the new Halloweens and the big budget horror movies overall, they were very non-existent on the regular back then.
Mm,
So, once in a while, a moderate budget horror movie would come out, but this would have probably been a little scarier when I was younger, and these were the horror movies. We didn't have all these The Conjuring
yeah.
and Scream
Insidious
and all
and
that. Yeah, and we didn't have those. These were our horror movies. Every now and again, there would be a really good Nightmare on Elm Street or a decent Halloween or something like that. But yeah, it wasn't horror wasn't as there were a lot of them, but they were very low budget.
yeah, they weren't really considered film at the time.
No.
Nobody was ever saying this is a movie you want to watch or you should watch.
Yeah.
Whereas now we have, Jordan Peele with Get Out and Nope and stuff like that, and you're just sitting there going, yeah. Like now there's more respect put on horror's name.
Yeah.
There wasn't as much in the '80s.
No. Okay, so buy it, rent it, stream it, skip it. If you liked it then, I would say stream it because it's available on a few sites. But
Mhm.
if you remember liking, I would say it's worth a rental if you can't find if it wasn't available on a streamer. Like it's worth a couple bucks. watch with friends or a partner who also remembering liking it will definitely enhance that experience. What about you?
Or really anyone who was a fan of like B horror.
Yeah.
Like definitely renting it, definitely worth it. If it's on sale, like for cheap,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's worth a buy.
Sometimes you run across that it's almost just as much to
Yeah,
they have it rent it for $5 or buy it for $5. Yeah.
it's worth the $5.
Yep.
I'd even go so far as to say 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it is available on more than one streaming site.
it is. I watched it on Crave.
Oh, did you? What did I watch?
Yeah.
I watched it on Tubi. They're commercials.
Oh yeah, no, they had both of them on both Slumber Party Massacres on Crave.
Oh, I didn't even check it. Oh, well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's still
Watched
free.
it. Yeah. But apparently they also have it on Prime.
Yeah, and it's also on Plex.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is yeah, you can find it. It is worth. If you've never seen it,
It's worth a stream.
yeah.
I wouldn't rent.
Yeah, I put stream it for the silliness.
Yeah.
And it is the more feminist take of an 80s slasher.
Yeah. There's a
Um,
female carpenter.
Yeah. And phone repair, like they're all
Yeah.
hot.
Well, of course.
But
They're
they are
very
females.
attractive and their jeans are very tight.
Yep.
But they use power tools.
Okay. So now this is now okay, so Slumber Party Massacre 2021. Now this one we are doing differently because it just came out there's no nostalgia here. There's no
Yeah. There's no
I was actually just looking for the intermission thing. I'm like, no, wait, we got another movie.
No, yeah, we still got 2021.
So we are going to review Slumber Party Massacre by the Sci-Fi Network, and if that for network TV has you worried, don't be. The streaming or rental movie is unrated and gorier. Unfortunately, no boobies, but
there's a but.
But we are above that as a society apparently now in the 2020s.
Yeah, we're above the boobies, but we are not above a male butt.
Oh fuck me. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Fair play, my friend. It is
fucking
fair
gross.
play.
Disgusting. Women are sick. Okay, so we're doing this differently. So what was your anticipation like before the pre-watch, like your anticipation going into this movie?
Okay, so I obviously love cheesy horror movies, and it was produced by Sci-Fi, so I was like, this is gonna be cheesy.
Yeah.
Because everything they do is cheesy. So I was ready for something super fun and super, so I was excited to watch it.
Yeah, I was
excited.
I was wary because
Mm.
I'm like, how much more cheesier can they make it? It is sci-fi. But I was after seeing the trailer, it did look good.
Yeah.
So let's start with the movie's acting.
I thought it was super good.
Yeah,
I
it
was
well
actually
done.
really, really surprised. I was like, they all seemed very natural on screen. They all had a really great presence.
Yep.
They had really good timing with each other. I was like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
I'm not used to acting this good in like cheesy horror movies.
Take that down. Sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you.
No, and it's still a low budget horror movie, but yeah, the acting was good.
Yeah.
The movie's directing.
I liked it. Could there have been scenes that were shot a little bit better? But I do like how almost chaotic it felt in the directing.
Yeah, yeah, because like the first scene was great.
Yeah.
The first act, if we look at it in 3 acts, the
Yeah.
first act was walking down that made-for-TV horror movie, but on the more decent end of TV horror
Mhm.
movie. The second act was surprising with its twists and the so-called woke part of the movie by one reviewer. That was hilarious. The fucking pillow fight by the guy.
I know, right?
Jesus Christ. But it was funny. It was tongue in cheek. It was
hilarious because basically what girls did in the movie, they end up doing the men, guys, boys, end up doing, and it's so
Yeah.
hilarious to me because there's a pillow fight and they're all down in their little PJs and like half
And
dressed, and
they're
they're
spraying the water, the
yeah,
beer on themselves.
they're
Oh
making
god.
food, and they're like, well, somebody has to eat. We gotta eat something. So
And
I loved it.
I didn't find it woke. I found it funny. I
Mm,
found it because they obviously took, like you said, what the women or girls would be doing, and they made the
yeah,
men doing it, and it was funny. It was good.
it was a great role reversal,
Yeah.
and I was very into it.
Um. Yeah. The goddamn battle with the drill and the guitar.
Oh, Jesus.
The guitar was an homage to Slumber Party Massacre
Yeah.
2. But yeah, that was freaking priceless.
Oh god. But
Fucking
that was also a great kill.
yeah, it
I
was a
was
good
like
kill. Yeah.
I was like, "Damn." But yeah, when he busts out the guitar, I was like, "Oh, sweetie.
Yeah.
Sweetie."
And the third act was even twistier
Yeah.
and made for a great ending. Cheesy, sure, but it was
Uh-huh.
fun. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was very cheesy. It had a couple things come in from left field, and I was like, "Oh, that's the direction we're going. Okay, then."
Yeah. The director, yeah, like it was chaotic, but it was a controlled chaotic.
Yeah.
Oh, give
Like
me 1 second. Sorry.
yep.
How do I get out of my studio?
Apparently you tear it down. Speaking of chaotic.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. God damn it.
Green screen.
You know what? For this one,
Are you just going bare?
I'll fix it on the intermission.
Yeah, it's fine.
I just noticed I just happened to look down and my power level was almost about to die because I didn't plug in
Oh,
my laptop. That would have sucked.
that would have really sucked.
So now it's in and charging.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, the movie story.
I loved it. It was a great reimagining of Slumber Party Massacre that honored the first one,
Eh,
updated it,
yeah,
and
and
added another level of fun to it.
yeah, and actually had a bit of Slumber Party Massacre 2. I don't know if the third was representative. That's the one I remember the least.
I don't think I've ever watched the third.
I might not have watched the third. But after 1982, um, I'm pretty sure 2 and 3 should be in next summer's drive-in.
You got it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like we said, the opening scene was great, and it gave enough time in 1993
Mhm.
for the opening scene. The rest of the movie made sense for a horror movie, and nothing overly cheesy, aside from like the drill versus the guitar
Yeah.
and the gender swap of the men doing the pillow fights. And I will say, if you were expecting girls having showers and showing skin, you will be somewhat disappointed. But
Mm.
again, gender swapping here, we do see a man having a shower and showing a lot of chest and ass.
Yes.
And they played the music a movie would if it was a female,
Yes.
along with the slow mo, and the music
Yep.
stops when he thinks he hears something or feels like he's being
Yeah.
watched, and then continues.
It's fantastic. It was fantastic.
I found this very disturbing and lowbrow.
I found it refreshing.
It was fucking funny.
It was fantastic because I'm like, finally, this is how we do it. This is
Yeah.
the feminism we need.
The movie's fun factor.
10 out of 10. It was a good time. It was a very, very good time. And you can tell they were having a good time with it.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting much, but I was pleasantly surprised. There is a
Mhm.
realism in the movie of the girls taking charge and standing up for themselves. There is more than one twist to this movie that happens organically and doesn't feel forced.
Yep.
Don't expect M. Night Shyamalan's
No.
that type of twist and turns. But I mean, it's something you might not see coming. The acting was great. The kills were great. The gore was good. It was a B horror movie, but a well-made B horror movie.
Yeah, and I think it's something that they really focused on the fun fact. Like they really had fun with the concept, with the script, with the action. And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell you're trying to make this entertainment for me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. One review we had that because we covered it and it said it harkened to the new Halloween movies. It does not on that level. Again, a B horror movie, but a great B horror movie.
Mm.
So my score is Slumber Party Massacre 2021 does everything right in I can't believe they shot this in 18 days, right? The acting, the effects, the story are great. It does not have a giant budget and it sometimes shows, but it doesn't take away from the fun factor.
Yeah.
I would definitely go to the slumber party again. I'd go to any slumber party, really. But this one is fun. I give it a solid 3. And now we 5 is watching the theater, pre-order the digital release, and then order the special edition Blu-ray. It's that good. 4 is rented at a premium, $20. 3 is good to great. Stream it if you can, but rent at a normal rate if you can't. 2 is it's okay. Stream it if you have to, and 1 is suck. Skip it. I give it a 3. Stream it if you can, but it's worth a rental.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it actually. Yeah, I'd say even if it was like a $10 rental or a $7.99, I'd be like, yeah, rent it. Like it's a good time. It's a fun.
But
little
would you
movie.
pay $20 to
I wouldn't pay
rent it?
$20.
No.
I would not pay $20. However, I would always prefer to stream it because even though you're paying, you're not really paying. Anyways, but yeah, renting at a normal rate, 100%. I think this is a fun movie and I think there's something in it. Even for people who aren't fans of horror, I think you can find the entertainment in this movie.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely a solid 3.
All right.
Stream it, but if you can't, feel free to
rental.
rent.
Yeah, it's worth a rental
For a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you are watching this live, this means that it's intermission time. And when we come back, I'll fix this. We are going back to 1993 and 1991, where we'll find Weekend at Bernie's 2. And there it is, Mannequin on the Move, or Part 2, in our Ode to Summer Drive-In double features. So we will now take an intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies. Everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now. The show starts in 3 minutes. The show starts in 2 minutes. The show starts in 1 minute. And now, on with the show.
Do.
Ta-da!
Yay. I picked up all my movies.
That's nice.
I gotta change that. Now we're going to all right. Yeah, I'm actually glad we watched that movie 2021. That was a pleasant surprise.
It really was.
But now now welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. As part of the live show, this next part is just for the live show. Actually, everything in this we're about to do is going into the podcast because we are doing two movies. We are not going to do the news and all that stuff. We're going to just concentrate on the two movies. And Weekend at Bernie's 2 and Mannequin 2. So let's start it with Weekend at Bernie's 2. What do you remember about Weekend at Bernie's 2?
I remember that I watched it. I remember almost nothing about it.
Me too. I remember the only thing I do remember the voodoo, some about voodoo, some about that has something with Bernie being back. Other than that, no, I don't remember a whole lot at all. Now, what about Mannequin on the Move, aka Part 2?
I also remember watching it. I remember some stuff, not a lot. Like I remember Christy Swanson in it, and I remember some bad acting, but I don't remember that much about it either.
No, this would have been a rental, and this would have been a Blockbuster rental, and it would have been because I usually rented at least 3 movies at a time, and this would have been one because something else was not there.
Yeah.
And yeah.
This would have been, it was on cable.
Yep. Okay, so let's get into let's go to the tail of the tape first. So start with Weekend at Bernie's 2 is a 1993 comedy, rated PG, and comes in at 1 hour and 37 minutes.
That's a lot of Bernie.
Yeah. Taglines. Bernie's back and he's still dead. You don't have to stop partying just because you stop breathing.
That's a terrible tagline.
So bad. Larry and Richard are back, and this time they're not fooling around.
That don't make no sense.
No, not a little bit. That's stupid. Synopsis. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
After witnessing the murder of their corrupt boss, Bernie Lomax, played by Terry Kaiser, Larry Wilson, Andrew McCarthy, and Richard Parker, Jonathan Silverman, are blamed for Bernie's embezzlement and fired. Desperate to find the stolen $2 million and clear their names, the pair learns the fortune was hidden in the Virgin Islands and travels there in pursuit. Meanwhile, Bernie's corpse is partially revived in a voodoo ceremony by gangsters also looking for the money. Wow. This is going to be great.
That's a choice.
Yeah. Tail of the tape for Mannequin 2 on the Move. Actually, they did that for the DVD or VHS or whatever when it
Mm,
came out. First, it was called Mannequin on the Move, and then Mannequin 2, just in case no one renting it understood.
yeah.
A 1991 fantasy comedy coming
Mm,
in at an hour and 35 minutes.
that's a lot of mannequins.
Yep. Taglines. She's been frozen for 1,000 years. Now it's time to break the ice.
That but
A lively comedy about a living doll.
that's stupid.
Yeah, that was it too. That's all I had. Here's the synopsis for Mannequin 2. Although Jason, William Ragsdale, works at a department store as a department store clerk, he is also a reincarnated prince. Long ago, his beloved Jessie, Chrissy Swanson, was snatched away from him by an evil wizard, Terry Kaiser, who's Bernie,
Jeez.
who is
Worlds collide.
used his powers to transform her into a wooden statue. Now Jessie is in Jason's department store as a mannequin. When he encounters her, she awakens from her 1,000-year sleep. They quickly revive their romance, but the evil wizard has been reincarnated as well, and he's up to no good. Oh my god! Now I'm just wondering which one's going to be worse.
Worse. Yeah.
Please
Which
don't-
one is gonna suck more? These are gonna be terrible.
Oh my god!
And we're gonna have to pay for the pleasure of watching them.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
god.
Okay, well let's go to the stuff. So this is the trivia, and for the sake of doing the thing, we'll do one after another.
Mhm.
Let me do the box office. Okay, so box office Weekend at Bernie's 2. It had a budget of 7 million. It opened in 9th spot, and it didn't stick around, but it made $12.7 million at the box office and would make more money in rentals. So it actually made some money back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now trivia, I'll start and then you can do the next one and so on. In 2016, a third film was announced, Weekend at Bernie's 3, The Corpse Awakens. The production did not get past the development stage, but the script is readily available online and is a firm favorite at fan table reads. I would like to read that actually.
Me too. I think we should do a table read. I'm just saying.
Oh, sorry. I gave you a nice meaty one.
Was filmed in the Virgin Islands.
Oh. According to Barry Bostwick's Q&A at the Spooky Empire Horror Convention in May of 2021, a completely different actress was cast as Claudia, but unfortunately suffered a mental breakdown. She probably read the script. 2 weeks into filming, causing production to cast Troy Bayer at a moment notice, and reshoots were made.
Interesting.
I wonder who that other actress was.
Me too.
Oh, there you go. There's a good one.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Weekend at Bernie's 2 was filmed in 1992 in the Virgin Islands. The cast and crew, who are mainly from the Los Angeles area, were on location when the Los Angeles riots of April 1992 broke out, and they stated in a St. Thomas interview that they were worried for their loved ones. The Bernie dummy used in the film had been on display for the film's debut shortly before the riot's outbreak and was robbed of its painter's hat and $400 sunglasses.
I would have took Bernie.
They left the dummy but took the sunglasses and the hat.
And the hat. All right, now we're at Mannequin 2. There was not a lot of for either movie trivia.
Yeah.
But the box office, it had a budget of 13 million 2 years earlier in 1991. It opened in 8th spot, and it disappeared even quicker the Weekend at Bernie's 2 and only made 3.7 million at the box. I don't even think rentals saved this movie.
No.
All right, so you can start off.
Oh,
And
thank you. So, Mannequin on the Move is the actual title of the sequel. Mannequin 2 on the Move was the poster's title.
Oh, and I already said that one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you did. It's okay. I forgive you.
Okay. Andrew Hill Newman, who plays the nerdy security guard, also appeared in Mannequin 1987, playing a different character, the janitor at the Illustra department store. Oh, the creepy janitor guy. Yeah, so that's something.
The pink convertible used in this sequel is the same convertible driven by the aliens in Mac and Me in 1988, also directed by Stuart Raffel.
That does not bode well.
No,
Mac and
no.
Me from 1988 is considered, it is in a lot of lists of the worst movies ever made.
It's fantastic.
And that guy who directed it directed this.
Choices
Oh.
were made.
The sequel is the last movie to be released by Gladden Entertainment. No shit.
They were like, guys, we can't do this anymore. We just can't.
Ah.
William Ragsdale and Christy Swanson both played vampire hunters in comedy horror movies. Ragsdale played Charlie Brewster in Fright Night, 1985, and Fright Night Part 2, 1988. Swanson played cheerleader Buffy Summers in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 1992, released a year after this movie.
Luckily she
Yeah.
got, yeah. Well, I don't know. This movie might be good.
Maybe.
In this sequel, Terry Kaiser plays the main villain, Count Gunther Spretzel.
Yeah.
In the original movie, Andrew McCarthy plays the main hero, Jonathan Switcher, who falls in love with a mannequin. Both McCarthy and Kaiser co-starred together in Weekend at Bernie's and Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Interesting.
And that's the last of that. So, let's see. We'll go over these and then we will go and watch the trailer. So that should be enjoyable. Weekend at Bernie's 2. 30 critic reviews, 10%.
Jesus.
25,000 audience reviews, 41%.
Wow.
The critic consensus is it would appear to be all but impossible to make a worthwhile sequel to a comedy about a corpse exploits. Odds Weekend at Bernie's 2 never comes close to beating. There were not a lot of fresh. Bernie's 2 stretches a thin idea even thinner, but it offers enough puerile,
Sure.
fun, and well-executed gags to lure fans of the 1989 predecessor back to the theaters. David Rooney Variety.
Yeah.
Through it all, Mr. Kaiser, who says not a word, exudes the foolish amiability of a partygoer who is beyond plots and is living in a private world of his own. Stephen Holden, New York Times. That was it.
That felt expensive.
Yeah, there's a lot of these. I had to go through. There were a few, like there were 32 of them, so I had to sift through 28. I will point out that you shouldn't watch the sequel. It's truly terrible. You're welcome. Mike Ryan, Up Rocks.
Thank you, Mike Ryan.
Bernie himself is the only sign of life. Michael Brody Cinema Blend, score 1 out of 5. Frankly, I'm stunned that every American who paid to see it didn't file a class action suit against TriStar Pictures for their blatant misrepresentation of the word comedy. Scott Weinberg, eFilmCritic.com, 1 out of 5.
Damn, Scott.
Once wasn't enough? Ken Hankey, Mountain Express, 2 out of 5. Well, he gave it 2 out of 5.
Ken.
Okay, IMDb. These are my favorite. 14,000 user ratings. Even they gave it 4.8 out of 10.
Jeez.
Okay, the positive. Okay, I got to do this for when we do the cuts. Okay, so for the IMDb positives, 10 through 6 are positive. Let's start with 10. They don't make them like they used to. Short order cook, 10 out of 10. Not a great sequel, but some laughs are in store. 9 out of 10. Really? Cotter 7579? Not a great sequel, but there's some laughs. And you gave it a 9.
So because there's some laughs, it gets a 9 out of 10? Jeez.
Oh, I'd hate to see the movie he doesn't like.
Right?
Pretty good 80s flick. 8 out of 10. Belly of Desire. It's not an 80s flick. It's a 1993 flick.
I know, but what are you going to do?
A classic if you like to see the dead getting smacked around. Sick Coyote. 7 out of 10. And then 6 out of 10. Enjoyable if you don't expect much. Godfil?
Sure.
Godfil?
Maybe.
Now for the negative IMDb's, we go from 5 to 1. Sometimes 5 is okay. There we go. Goofy sequel, very early 90s style. Insomniac Rod, 5 out of 10. Insomniac Rod. Sounds like his penis won't go to sleep. A disappointment after the first. Crimson Roger, 4 out of 10. One of the most pointless sequels I've ever seen. Calanves, 3 out of 10. Same movie as the first, just worse. Horrible horror films, 2 out of 10. And 1 out of 10, worst film I've ever seen. Do you know who I am?
Wow.
Yeah. Now, Mannequin 2, 23 critic reviews, 13% would suggest it's better, but when you actually do the math, it's worse because 23, they had 30. 5,000 audience reviews gives it 40%. Critic consensus is chock full of cliche gags and glaring product placement. Mannequin on the Move is even more lifeless than its woeful predecessor. Here's some positive. The film has enough new characters and independent spirit to have a light, cheery style of its own. Janet Maslin, New York Times. Plenty of eye candy, a healthy dose of laughs. Caffeinated Clint, Movie Hole. 3 out of 5.
This does not bode well.
Oh, and that was it too. That's only the 2. Here's a rotten. The plot is the same, only dumber. Stephen Hunter, Baltimore Sun. That doesn't bode well either because
No.
Mannequin wasn't as great as I remember it.
Yeah, no.
Once Wasn't Enough. Ken Hankey, Mountain Express. And he gave, I think, a bad review to Weekend at Bernie's too. Okay, here, yes. Despite the presence of 4 credited screenwriters, the plot is a rehash of cliches and tired jokes. Roger Hurlbut, South Florida Sun Sentinel. And then the next one, could somebody please tell me why 4 scriptwriters were needed for Mannequin 2 on the Move? Sorry. That was Torrance Vetville, Empire Magazine, the top, and Roger Hobart was the middle one here. And the third one, it took 4 writers to struggle with another idea of why a mannequin would come to life in a department store and what would happen if she did. Variety staff, Variety. So there were 4, and apparently 4 very credited screenwriters brought this thing to life.
That's not surprising.
The first one was so-so. This one is less so. Ken Hankey, Mountain Express. Mannequin 2 is so bad that you'd easily accept my supposition that the film was in fact directed by 3 spiders, a goat, and a dedicated gust of wind. Scott Weinberg, film critic, 1 out of 5.
Amazing.
IMDb, 6.6 user ratings, 4.4 out of 10. So it's even worse. Now for these, we go from 10 to 6 as IMDb's users' positive ratings. Mannequin 2, what an underrated comedy. 10 out of 10. It's Mr. Big to you.
Oh, it's Mr. Big to you.
Campy, campy, campy. Great follow-up to the original. 90s nostalgia by Critics Voice Video. 9 out of 10. Big, Brit. Fun for me. Such a newbie?
Sure.
8 out of 10. Mannequin 2 is not lifeless. It's fun. Inkblot 11 gives it 7 out of 10. Cheesy sequel, happy ending for everyone. BA_Harrison, 6 out of 10. Now for the negative IMDb, we go from 5 to 1. And let's start with sequel to the 87 film of the same name, cute film, Lisa Forday? 5 out of 10. Why do I get the feeling that all these people that like it still draw unicorns on paper at home?
Because they probably do.
Here we go. The Troll 2 of rom-com sequels by the Czar-2. 4 out of 10.
Jeez.
If your movie's getting compared to Troll 2, arguably one of the worst movies ever made, that's not a good sign.
No, it's not.
Don't expect much. It is, after all, a sequel to a mild B comedy by Vertigo_14, 3 out of 10.
Valid.
Little Richard plus RuPaul equals Enter the Cast, 2.10. Now this, Okay. And then we'll go to number 1. The worst movie I've ever seen. Schirner. 1 out of 10. So there's argument over one of who has seen the worst out of 10.
Yeah.
This one where it says Little Richard plus RuPaul is actually a review that was done in such a way that it was talking about the guy who plays the flamboyant gay guy and how spectacular, but he keeps saying how spectacular. It's just this very sarcastic review. I wish I could have put it in here, but yeah, they did not like the movie.
Not surprising.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we have the tail of the tape. We looked at some trivia. We looked at the reviews. Let us look at the first Weekend at Bernie's 2 trailer.
Are you sure?
Yep, that's him.
America's favorite stiff is back.
That's Bernie Lomax. I recognize that smirk anywhere.
But this corpse has a job to do.
I found this in Bernie's wallet. It's a key to a safety deposit box in St. Thomas. That's the $2 million that Lomax stole.
It's noted as a personal entry account.
What does it mean?
The only one who could get in is Bernie Lomax personally, and well, he's kind of dead right now.
We go back to the morgue. We get the body. We go to St. Thomas. We take Bernie to the bank.
So they're packing him up.
I think I'm going to sit down. Thanks. Get in there.
And heading for the islands.
Whoa, downward. Whoa, back out.
But they're about to discover
Raise this man from the dead. He will lead you to where he has hidden the money.
that Bernie Lomax is more popular than ever.
2 guys. They're taking Bernie. Rich. Claire? Get out of the way.
What'd you do with Bernie?
He's in the fridge where we put him.
You are in the power of the movie.
You were supposed to be here guarding Bernie. Why would I have to guard a dead man stuck in a 2-foot refrigerator?
He's got style.
Where is he now?
You're so cute.
He's got charm.
How did you happen to meet old Bird?
In the conga line.
He's just got no soul.
I just saw a dead man walking on the bottom of the ocean.
But that never stopped Bernie
Bernie? Oh, Parasailer?
Who is that?
He's our boss. He's dead. Don't worry about it.
from being the life of the party.
The island, he's not afraid of you. You're the bravest guy I've ever met.
Weekend at Bernie's 2. No one does dead like Bernie.
Let me rock.
That looks really bad.
It looks terrible. It looks so incredibly terrible. So terrible.
All right, let's do our prediction for Weekend at Bernie's 2.
I think I'm gonna hate it a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like. There was part of me like, well, before we started this, maybe I'm gonna like it better than number 1. And
That's possible, yeah.
but after with all this and watching that, I don't think so. No, I don't think this is going to be a great movie.
No.
All right, maybe Mannequin 2 looks better.
In a faraway kingdom.
Do not draw that sword unless you intend to use it, sir.
A dashing prince and his lady fair ran into a few problems.
A symbol of our eternal love.
You have cursed my gift!
Frozen forever until she meets a true love from another land.
And that is the legend of Hauptmann Konig's enchanted peasant girl.
1,000 years later, Jason Williamson started a new job.
Well, lucky you. It seems we have an opening on Mr. Montrose's staff.
Give me cheekbones! I'll give me that!
And found the girl of his dreams.
2.5 billion women in the world, and I'm trying to score with a statue. There is definitely something wrong with me. Gesundheit.
Dankeschön.
You're welcome.
Whoa! Whoa!
Why are you running?
Why am I running? Why are you moving? What's got?
After a 10th-century snooze,
The lights are beautiful. How does it all work?
Well,
she's got some catching up to do.
It's diet soda. No calories, no sugar, no caffeine.
Oh, we had something like that back home called water.
Baz!
Who's in the bathroom?
questions, please.
We do not fall in love with empty things unless, of course, their daddies are rich. And in this case, her daddy's a redwood, so I forget about it.
Jason.
It's not what you're thinking, Mom.
He's in love with a dummy.
Oh! The count is here to preview the display. Are you sure you're supposed to be out in the daylight? Get back.
I want to see the enchanted peasant girl now.
Where is she? The enchanted peasant girl's alive.
That is impossible.
I have to save her, Hollywood.
No one messes with Count Spretzel.
I thought Cupid aimed for the heart.
Hey!
I learned this from the Marines.
You were in the Marines?
Yes, they were looking for a few good men, and so was I.
Jason, come on!
Mannequin on the move.
Stranger things have happened.
Where have you been all my life?
Frozen.
This is going to be rough.
Wow, that's 2. I
Should
did
be
like
fun.
the Diet Coke bit.
Mm.
Yeah, we had something like that if we had water. Prediction?
I think I'm in for a double feature of terrible.
Yeah, and it's a double feature that's going to cost money.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I mean, maybe they'll have moments in these movies that don't totally suck.
Maybe.
I'm not that hopeful, though.
No.
They
Okay.
could do
Well, I don't think either one are going to be good, but you never know.
It's true. We've been wrong before. I mean, you thought Steel Dawn was awesome before you watched it again.
Yeah, I did think Still Dawn was awesome.
Yeah.
I was really wrong. So I could be really wrong again.
Exactly.
That would be great. All right. So we are going to go watch Weekend at Bernie's 2 and Mannequin on the Move. And then when we come back, we are going to review it. So I wouldn't go watch it. I'd wait to see if our review.
Yeah, wait until we tell you whether or not it's safe.
Yeah, don't join along. Don't join along on this one.
But I mean, if you're a glutton for punishment, by all means, or if you want to risk it, sure, join us in this rewatching of these 2 gems.
Yeah. All right. And if you are watching this live or later, because actually we get more views after it goes on. Not a ton or anything, but we do.
But still.
Next Wednesday at 9 p.m., we'll be back to review Weekend at Bernie's 2 and Mannequin 2. And we will be previewing, I believe, Deep Blue Sea.
Yes.
Which I will be probably even more excited about watching after watching these 2.
Yes, me too.
All right. So that was it. Thanks for watching.